Oh my God!
We're going to be talking about some very interesting sort of speculative data science tonight and some interesting digital signals in your credit score.
I think that you may have combined aerialist, which would be the man in the flying trapeze, with an actuary, which I would like these two professions to be the same.
April's making up new words
This is one of those deals where it's a little inside nerd.
because nothing says excitement like actuary.
We hear that financial triggers are really strongly associated with suicide attempts or deaths, and we know that people have changes in financial circumstances leading up to suicide attempts and deaths.
With that group of people already, that middle-aged group, you have the predisposition to be affected by these unpredictable circumstances.
We see people who are dying by suicide that did not appear to be at risk prior to a big financial collapse.
Cognition is different in folks that are impoverished or who are living in with less resources. It actually changes the way that the brain works.
And sometimes you'll see disruptions or changes in people's spending and budgeting and financial habits in advance of very severe deterioration of mental health.
The relationship between a suicide and financial status is incredibly complicated.
What they're wanting to do is they're wanting to scrape social media. Your credit score really is made out of hundreds of different data factors. And they can just do social media scraping and find a social media data signal that hits at the same thing, and they can just use that and just not use your credit score, but basically do the same thing.
Did they predict it, or did they detect it?
Tony, you're making Tony face.
Well, it's kind of like as we move into the era of big data, the general consumer is really divorced from all of these things that are happening, and we have no idea.
Credit score changes may be showing early on these sort of invisible stressors.
I was at the annual antiquarian book fair in Boston, Massachusetts.
Antiquarian book. Well, the hijinks must have ensued at that. I can
It's
only
crazy.
imagine
It's a wild party down at the antiquarian book fair.
They're not actually predicting your behavior, April. They're looking at a group that's similar to you, and they're hedging their bets that people who belong in this group are more likely to engage in this behavior, and so they pool that.
There is no big data. There's only statistics.
If folks who are doing premium rates for life insurance start saying, well, you're at greater risk of killing yourself, so we're going to charge you more for life insurance.
There are instances where we have major life changes where we can actually put people in those situations and try to prepare them, try to educate them.
We could be looking at financial changes and economic changes and predicting changes in suicide rates and being prepared from a public health perspective.
We have a real problem about where does the social responsibility lie?
Can we be baking in suicide prevention related to people's financial changes?
Maybe the big data focus or the statistical focus or the predictive focus is backwards. Who gives a crap when we don't have good systems of care in place?
Meanwhile, I'm like, can we get some digital data that's a lot more precise? So we aren't just finding everyone in distress, but finding people at risk of immediate harm.
So Dr. Bart Andrews said it first. He's pro-robot therapist. He wants robot therapy everywhere because they don't join unions and you don't have to pay them.
Statistics means never having to say you're certain.
Just dollar bills, y'all. Just dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bills,
Dollar
y'all.
bills, y'all.
We have digital signals out there that can tell us stuff that we don't know about one of the leading causes of death.